Fortunately, the storm gradually settled, and I wasn't even thrown overboard without a spacesuit. Uraz Tuksh had been screaming about just such a punishment, though. I was even morally prepared to respawn back at my capital base in shame. Over all the screams and commotion, none of the crew even noticed that I had saved the scan in my device's memory. However, my thoughtless action had netted me a highly detailed three-dimensional blueprint of an alien starship. When the captain calmed down and my roommates drifted off, I turned on my scanner and carefully acquainted myself with the saved file. It showed all the key sections of the Shiamiru-class ship along with its control systems and power sources, rooms, corridors, and technical components. Practically every rivet could be seen in my highly detailed 3D model. I had even detected a safe in the wall of the captain's chambers, which looked to contain just over 3 pounds of platinum and approximately the same quantity of iridium. Naturally, I didn't tell Uraz Tuksh and the other crew members about my discovery because I was afraid the Gecko would demand I delete the valuable data. And, by the way, I was very surprised to see that the Gecko didn't leave the game that bends reality to rest, seemingly ever. Before that, I honestly thought the small size of the shuttle bunks was because there was no need for more room. After all, an astronaut who grew tired and wanted to rest could exit the game into the real world, then their character would disappear and no longer take up any space. However, all 3 of my bunkmates were still logged on, even when sleeping. That was strange, but there was probably some explanation. I made a mental note to ask my friends when possible. Unlike my bunkmates, I was in no mood to sleep. For a start, I looked carefully over my spoils from the battle in the Harpy Cliffs. Before that, I hadn't had a chance. The Dark Faction laser pistol didn't have any exorbitant stat requirements, but it did need the pistol skill to work effectively. I turned the unusual weapon over in my hands and stashed it back in my backpack. It was not right for me. Minnow Lafin's belt was nothing extraordinary on its own, just a common wide belt made of artificial leather with 2 small cases for storing little trinkets. Inside one of the cases, I found a folding fork and spoon and a spool of surprisingly resilient thread. The second contained a replacement laser pistol battery. But the chameleon cloak had me intrigued. Dark Faction Camouflage Cloak. Character detection distance while in motion, minus 23%. Character detection distance while immobile, minus 77%. Battery life, 18 hours. Statistic requirements: agility, 18. Intelligence, 15. Skill requirements: stealth, 16. Electronics, 16. Attention! Your character has insufficient agility to use this object. Attention! Your character lacks the stealth skill, which is required to use this object. Conclusion: a fairly useful item, but not right for my Nat. Sure, I could take the stealth skill when my character reached level 25, but raising agility by 3 points? That would take at least half a year of intensive training. Placing it back into my inventory with pity, I gave a heavy sigh and tried to distract myself, getting back to studying Gecko writing. Thankfully, there was plenty of incomprehensible scribbling on the monitor, and every little lever, access door, and panel on the ceiling and walls of my bunk. I also had many questions about my scanner's settings. It was possible to change them, but I didn't risk experimenting any more on the Shiamiru. I was too afraid to mess up again and ruin my reputation both among my crew and faction. I had already failed the mission Ivan Lazovsky gave me, to prove I was a qualified prospector. In fact, I had given them cause to doubt the intellectual abilities of the whole human race. My self-castigation was interrupted by an abrupt repeating signal that rolled through the shuttle. Accident? Danger? But my roommates, although they awoke, did not demonstrate any alarm or panic.